In this video, we're going to look at Retirement Planning, Chapter 5, Example 8. But before we jump into the question in that example, I just want to spend a moment to show where this could possibly show up in the FPSB CFP certification exam. In Part 2, there's one comprehensive case on integrated financial planning, engaging clients in developing effective financial plans. That is a big case and 30 multiple choice questions with 5 minutes per multiple choice question. So you can see for retirement planning, this question is falling under retirement planning, there'd be 5 multiple choice questions and you get 5 minutes each. So what we're going to see in this question is because it's a 5-step, multi-step question, you'd have potentially 5 minutes. Or it could possibly show up as just a shorter vignette question in Part 3 of the FPSB CFP certification exam. There in Part 3, there's 4 item sets, smaller vignettes, and you get 3 minutes per multiple choice question. So looking at retirement planning, again, there'd be 5 multiple choice questions times 3 minutes each for 15 minutes. Could this be a smaller vignette, 3-minute type multiple choice question? Well, speed is a skill. Skill gets rewarded. I don't think it's stretching it, but it's not unrealistic. And so without further ado, we'll jump in and review the question. Example 8 from Chapter 5, Retirement Planning. Living longer provides more opportunity for retirees to run out of money. The investing goal has been to accumulate enough assets to generate the desired level of sustainable cash flow in retirement with a reasonable cushion. Upon entering retirement, the goal shifts to working with sustainable withdrawal or distribution strategies. One distribution theory is the bucket system. Emergency funds should be saved in a cash or cash equivalent account in the first bucket. So first bucket, emergency funds. The second bucket is a typically well-diversified portfolio for the intermediate term, and longer term, higher risk, higher investments are held in a third bucket. So your client has annual expenses of $100,000 and you've agreed to assume 25 years for the retirement period, 3% inflation and 7% discount rate, the investment rate. Use the real rate to determine the amount needed at the beginning of retirement. Use this number and then plan for 2 years of funding in bucket number 1 in cash and emergency funds. Bucket number 2 will hold 12 years of funding. In this, we will be more conservative and assume a 6% investment return and continue with the 3% inflation. The second bucket should most likely hold an inflation-adjusted amount closest to A, $1,029,756, or B, $1,443,046, C, $413,290, or D, $981,578. Example 8 from Chapter 5, Retirement Planning. Living longer provides more opportunity for retirees to run out of money. The investing goal has been to accumulate enough assets to generate the desired level of sustainable cash flow in retirement with a reasonable cushion. Upon entering retirement, the goal shifts to working with sustainable withdrawal or distribution strategies. One distribution theory is the bucket system. Emergency funds should be saved in a cash or cash equivalent account in the first bucket. So first bucket, emergency funds. The second bucket is a typically well-diversified portfolio for the intermediate term, and longer term, higher risk, higher investments are held in a third bucket. So your client has annual expenses of $100,000 and you've agreed to assume 25 years for the retirement period, 3% inflation and 7% discount rate, the investment rate. Use the real rate to determine the amount needed at the beginning of retirement. Use this number and then plan for 2 years of funding in bucket number 1 in cash and emergency funds. Bucket number 2 will hold 12 years of funding. In this, we will be more conservative and assume a 6% investment return and continue with the 3% inflation. The second bucket should most likely hold an inflation-adjusted amount closest to A, $1,029,756, or B, $1,443,046, C, $413,290, or D, $981,578. Okay, we'll go through this question. You'll see that speed is a skill. Skill gets rewarded. It's not that bad. We're fundamentally doing two present value calculations. It's just that we have to use the correct data and make a couple of adjustments, in each of the stages. So the first thing that I did is I cut out the whole top part of the question and that's again, an exam writing skill, is being able to sort of read through and start to pull out the information that you need right away. Okay, so you can see here, we'll start again. Your client has annual expenses of $100,000. You've agreed to assume 25 years for the retirement period, 3% inflation, 7% discount rate, that's the investment rate. So here, this is, our first steps 1 and 2. It says use the real rate to determine the amount needed at the beginning of retirement. So that's very important to understand that is steps number 1 and 2 right there, asking you to calculate the amount needed at the beginning of retirement. So that's a present value calculation. So then we're going to look for our variables. You can see the payment here is $100,000. That's the annual expenses that we need to cover, okay? N, it says 25. You've agreed to assume 25 years. N is 25. And then when we see the 7% discount rate with 3% inflation, and it says use the real rate, we know that we have to use the Fisher equation, 1 plus the investment rate divided by 1 plus the inflation rate minus 1 times 100. This is the correct IY discount rate to be using for steps 1 and 2. So down here you can see step number 1, do the inflation adjusted rate. Step number 2, you're just doing the present value calculation. So we'll bring up the calculator and we'll run through it, but we can see we're going to be in the beginning mode because retirement income, we're always payments at the beginning. It says beginning of retirement, payments comes at the beginning of the year. Present value annuity due, PY, 1 payment per year, N equals 25, IY 3.8835, payment 100,000, no future value because retirement's over, and we simply calculate the present value. Let's bring up the calculator. Okay, so check the I'm not in the beginning mode, so how do we do that? Second begin, second enter, I'm back to the beginning mode. So starting from left to right, let's just make sure that we're in PY equals 1, second PY equals 1. Yeah, always better safe than sorry. So we're going to do 25N, and then this inflation adjusted discount rate, 3.8835 for our IY. We're calculating the present value. Our payment is this $100,000 that we want. No future value because retirement is over. And I'm going to compute the present value, $1,643,046. Okay, so you can see that's how much we need at the beginning of retirement. Then it says use this number. So I've got that number, $1,643,000, and then plan for 2 years funding in bucket number 1 in cash and emergency. So 2 years funding. What are they talking about? 2 years of funding expenses. That's why you got to get good at practicing these questions. And that's just simply $200,000 that we should have in bucket number 1, 2 years cash and emergency, and that's $200,000. Okay, so $1,643,046 minus $200,000 gives us $1,443,046. Don't even need the calculator for that. For buckets number 2 and 3. So it's saying here now, it's asking us the question, the second bucket should most likely hold how much? Well, $1,443,046 is for buckets 2 and 3. What do we need for bucket number 2? It says here, bucket number 2 will hold 12 years of funding, so N equals 12. In this, we'll be more conservative and assume a 6% investment return. Why? Because that's the second bucket, shorter, the medium term, so more bonds, less volatility, lower investment return than that. Okay, so that means we need to adjust the inflation-adjusted discount rate for steps 4 and 5, okay? And that's the important thing to pick up, is that we're using two different discount rates. You can see the inflation didn't change, but we're lowering that bucket number 2 to a 6% investment return. So when we do that, we get our discount rate of 2.91262, okay? So we're just going to bring up the calculator to solve that. We're going to stay in the beginning mode. And so now this is for 12 years, n equals 12. IY, that different discount rate, 2.91262. For our IY, we're calculating the present value. It's that same $100,000 that we're talking about for our payment. 0 future value, because that second bucket will be used up. We're going to calculate the present value, $1,029,756. The correct answer is A. Okay, so that, as you can see, it's basically two present value questions, but you have to be able to read through and pick out the important bits of information very quickly and structure up your calculations. Real rate of return for steps 1 and 2, present value. I think the data there is quite clear, and then you have to subtract the 200,000, then adjust the real rate for steps 4 and 5. And again, just running through the present value calculation, but that bucket is for a 12-year time horizon, and that's why it's more conservative, 6% investment return. And you get the present value for that second bucket. And then finally, we could make this a multiple choice question asking how much in the third bucket. You would take that, what's available for buckets 2 and 3, and subtract that second bucket amount, and then you would have 413,000. So if you look at the distractors here, B, 1,443,000. Well, that was the amount for buckets 2 and 3. C was the bucket 3, and D was using the wrong discount rate. We was using the 3.88 in this step number 5, forgetting that this part that it's more conservative and using the 6%. Okay, so a fair bit there, but again, 3-minute minimum, 5-minute maximum on this type of question. Thank you.